Hi, this is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games. I'm here today to talk about my favorite game mechanism in Codenames, a game by Vlaada Chvátil. Last week I was at Gen Con, so I didn't get the chance to make one of these videos, but I did have the opportunity to play a few new games, among them the aforementioned Codenames. It was one of the hottest games of Gen Con, and it's on the top of the Board Game Geek hotness list still, a week later. So I thought it might be worth discussing. It just happened to be one of the games that I played. In Codenames, it's a team game, so players divide into two teams. You need at least 4 players to make this work. And you kind of lay out this grid of cards. Some are secretly marked red, some are secretly marked blue. There's an assassin among them. It's also secret. All the identities of the cards are secret. And there are some neutral cards. And each of these cards has a word on it, just a single word. I guess some of them might have 2 words, but I think it's just one word on each card. And the people, there are 2 people, one on each team, who can see, they have this little card that shows them which of the cards in the grid, the cards that are visible to all the other players, are red or blue. So if I'm team red, I'll have a bunch of cards marked red, and I'm trying to get my team to guess what those cards are. And I do so by, when it's my turn, I'll give them a clue. I can say a single word and a number. So I could say pizza 3, and my teammates, or teammate, if it's just a 4-player game, has to guess. They have to figure out which are the cards out there I'm trying to tell them are related by the word pizza. And I'm kind of telling them there are 3 cards that I want you to pick. The first team to select all cards of their color wins. And if any team ever chooses the assassin, the game immediately ends. Which I think, that's not my favorite mechanism, but I think that's interesting that there's the pressure that you can, at any time, immediately lose. Which I think is kind of a cool aspect to a short game. I don't think that would work for like a 3-hour game if you've built up all this strategy and then you just outright lose due to something happening by randomness. But in a short game, it works great. My favorite mechanism that we discovered while playing this. So originally, one of my friends brought this into one of the game nights we hosted at Gen Con. And they kind of made a big deal about it being even players. So we had like 5 players. So we kept searching for that 6th player. We couldn't find it. And eventually I was like, after I heard the rules, I was like, let's just sit down and play with 5 players. We don't need exact player count, an exact even number of players. And I was right. You don't need an even number of players at all. You just need 4 players, and then which gives you enough to divide into two teams. But the cool thing that I discovered about this was that as we were playing, other people wandered into the room, and they kind of wanted to play too, or they wanted something to do for a few minutes. And we found that it was remarkably easy to add anyone into the game at any time. Someone could walk up, and if Team Blue had 3 players and Team Red had 4 players, then that new player could join Team Blue for a little while. It didn't detract from the experience at all of the players who had already been playing for a few minutes, and it didn't detract from the experience of the new player coming into the game at all. And I guess I'm trying to figure out exactly why that is in this game. I think it's just because of the way the game works. Like, at any given time, the knowledge that you have is pretty much just the clue that you're about to receive. You can maybe get a little bit of information from a previous clue that you didn't completely fulfill. Like if I said pizza 3 and my team got 2 of the cards, but there was 1 still lingering out there. But even in that scenario, it's very easy to catch up a new player and say, hey, like on the last turn, we had pizza 3, we didn't get the last pizza, so now we have the clue catnip. And we have to figure out what catnip is, and maybe there's still like a lingering pizza clue out there. It was just remarkably easy to involve anyone new in the game, and still, if you were already there, to still feel completely engaged and motivated to win and have a good time. I think there are very few games that do this. I mean, this is an extremely rare quality of a game where you can walk into it at any time, and everyone involved still has just as good of a time as if you had waited for the game to end and then joined in. The other game I can actually think of, the only one offhand, is a game that I have on my shelf that I got at Gen Con from designer John Brott, a game called The King's Armory. It's a tower defense game. I haven't played it yet, but John has told me that it's the type of game where anyone can walk up at any time and join in the fight against all the forces that are coming at you in your castle. I don't think it's any. I think it's like at the end of the round they can actually join in, but there are a bunch of rounds in the game, so it's easy for them to do that. But I'm curious, are there any games that you can think of where it is super easy for anyone to join in the game at any time? The only other game, actually, there's one other game. We've been playing a lot of Camel Up lately. I recorded a video recently about that. And there are times in Camel Up, in like the early going of the game, like the first round, where someone can join in and they can easily just join in the game. But not at any time. Like once you've been playing for a few minutes, you really have to catch up a new player if they jump in, so it doesn't work as well. Codenames does it better than any other game I've ever seen. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the game as well. So that is my favorite game mechanism of Codenames, the ability to jump into the game at any time. If you have any other games you can think of, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks.